Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the morgue, Lee tells Steffy and Finn that Tom and Hollis failed from the same medicine and the exact same position of toxin. Steffy says Sheila was a nanny and knows all about dosing. Lee tells Finn this farther implicates Sheila. Lee explains she was on her way to defy Sheila. Steffy was going to do the same. Finn worries that if Sheila's back to her old ways, having an altercation with her would not be wise. Undeterred, Steffy says she's defying Sheila. The two of them can come with her. They can put enough pressure on her that she'll confess. She won't rest until that woman is back in captivity for the rest of her godforsaken life. In Deacon's apartment, Sheila tells him she knows he's heard over what happened to Tom and Hollis. Deacon says he's freaking out. Sheila agrees it was a tragedy, but she doesn't want his mind running to murder. Just also, Deputy Chief Baker walks by and asks, "Did notoriety say murder?" He's there about the two deaths in Deacon's establishment. Baker warns they need to probe the death of his workers. Deacon says they were also musketeers. Baker needs to find out what happened to these men. At Forrester, Ridge hasn't heard from Steffy yet. He tells Hope and Brooke that he doesn't know how or why, but Sheila killed those two men. He adds that she's a psycho as Carter comes by. Carter says his contact at the police department reached out. Hollis failed of an overdose. Ridge recaps that the two people failed in the same place of the same medicine. Brooke prodigies if they were doing medicines together. Carter only knows what the report says. He asks how Deacon is doing. Hope says he's worried given they were an important part of his life. Ridge scoffs that Tom was important to him because he saved Sheila's life. Brooke thinks that could be a woeful coexistence. Ridge says there are no concurrents where Sheila's concerned. Carter admits his mind went there too. Ridge has been staying for the other shoe to drop and then it is. She's psychotic. Sheila Carter. At Deacon's place, Baker asks him to walk him through what happened the night Tom failed. Cleric goes on about his show and how it was a great night until he collapsed. Sheila says she did what she could, but he just went so presto. Deacon says he de-gutted himself up and had an occasion for an alternate chance. Baker's sorry for their loss, but now that another hand has failed, and disquisition has been opened to make sure there's been no foul play. Steffy, followed by Lee and Finn, walk through Deacon's open door. Steffy knew it, the police are involved. Sheila says they were cooperating and there's no need for all of this. Steffy prompts Finn to tell Baker what he knows. Finn says the necropsy was done at his sanitarium. Hollis failed of an overdose. Cleric gawps, there's no way. Baker says this isn't news to him, he read the report. Lee says Hollis and Tom failed from the same medicine at the same toxin situations. Steffy sums up, two men failed, and we know why. Sheila asks why they were looking at her. Steffy says, because it's you, Sheila. You killed them. At Forrester, Ridge concludes a phone call as Hope flashes through recollections of Hollis. Ridge says he gets that Hollis doing medicines doesn't add up for Brooke. How do they make sense of his overdose also? Carter thinks it reinforces the proposition that Sheila had a hand in this. Brooke thinks she should be behind bars. After all the horrible effects she's done, now she's running around and conceivably killed two innocent men. At Deacon's place, Sheila tells Steffy that's a dangerous blameworthiness. Deacon wants her to leave, they were dealing with enough her. Steffy asks how numerous people have to suffer before Baker locks this monster up. She lists her transgressions. Lee snips that now Tom and Hollis are her rearmost victims. Cleric finds this ludicrous. Sheila insists she didn't do this and has changed. Deacon wouldn't tolerate these claims. They were way off base, thinking that Sheila did this. Tom and Hollis were like family to them. Sheila reminds them that Tom saved her life and Hollis treated her with respect. She watched for both of them. Lee asks, also tell us what happened to them, Sheila. Tell us. Sheila suddenly remembers that Hollis set up Tom's pack. He said there was commodity in there that could have gotten Tom killed, and now Hollis is dead too. Finn asks, "What are you saying?" She says the indication is in the pack. We've got to find it. Steffy scoffs about the falsehoods that come out of Sheila's mouth. Baker wants to hear further about the pack. Sheila flashes to Hollis, showing it to her, and telling her he discovered commodity. "That's the last time I saw Hollis," she laments. Baker learns that she told Hollis to get relief of the pack. She was upset there might still be medicines in it and didn't want it in the eatery. Lee accuses Sheila of wanting to get relief of ruinous substantiation. Sheila's induced, the pack is still there downward. That's where our answers are. At Forrester, Ridge says Steffy's not answering textbook still. He tells Carter she's at the sanitarium, trying to get to the bottom of effects. At Il Giardino, everyone searches for the pack. No bone. Can find it. Sheila says Hollis stockpiled effects behind the bar. She and Deacon check, but come up empty. Steffy and Lee tell Baker this was just a smokescreen. Deacon argues that Sheila had no motive, and they've no evidence, just unwarranted allegations. Baker asks Deacon if Sheila was with him that whole night. Deacon admits she came up a little latterly. Sheila says that's true, but she was downward killing Hollis. Steffy pleads with Baker to take Sheila in, while Lee sniffs that it would be the first time two people were harmed there. There could be further if this does end now. Sheila proclaims her innocence again and asks Finn to stand up for her. Finn doesn't know what happened, but what he does know is wherever Sheila goes, destruction follows. He tells Baker he needs to cover his family and it would be prudent to take Sheila in for questioning. "Chief Baker, take her down." Baker leads her down as Sheila turns back to look at them. Steffy and Finn grasp. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that the show has given suckers a layered whodunit plot with plenitude of mystification pieces. B&B is forcing observers to ask questions, like who visited Paul Hollister shortly before his demise? At first, Hollis was taken suddenly and asked what this person was doing there, but he snappily shifted gears and decided he was glad about the appearance. Hollis still had Tom Starr's pack at that point, so he suggested he really demanded to talk to someone about this. Grounded on Hollis' friendly response to someone he honored, that narrows down the list of people it could conceivably be. Hollis had formerly shown Sheila the pack, so it was her. Since Hollis putatively set up Tom's letters to Poppy Nozawa about Luna Nozawa's maternity, that's important to flash back, too. Hollis would have stated effects that way to Poppy and Luna since they were a huge part of the stunner he uncovered. There's a good chance Hollis' riddle caller was Jack Finnegan since the show's been playing up how he befriended the bartender. Everything about that commerce makes sense if Jack was the bone. Who popped up that night? Of course, that doesn't mean Jack is to condemn for the drugging. Hollis was formerly half to the grave by also, since he'd been drinking his presumably cured coconut water before this caller ever arrived. What if Jack showed up allowing Il Giardino was still open and also got some shocking updates? Hollis might be shown Jack the letters that Poppy returned to Tom and refocused out that Tom claimed to be Luna's father. Jack started texting Lee Finnegan like crazy once the news about Hollis' fatal outgrowth started to spread. What if Jack was upset Lee might be done commodity to make sure Luna's real maternity stayed buried? Whether Lee's responsible or not, Jack could clearly have enterprises. That's especially true if they both know Jack is Luna's biopater and have been in cahoots to cover it up. Nethermost line, the riddle caller presumably was the same person who cured Hollis. Jack may be the bone. Who interacted with Hollis that night, but who actually wiped Hollis off the chart? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say this Tom and Hollis riddle will continue to unravel, so we'll bring you more prognostications on all the disturbing exposures ahead.